The year of 2025 is probably the year for CCR properties. Why do I say that? Because it has been a long time since there are so many new launches in CCR itself. We are looking at an estimated of 60 new launches. As for RCR, we have about 8 launches, and OCR we have 8 as well, plus 3 ECs. So for this year, I feel that there's actually a shortage in OCR because OCR properties usually sell more. The supply is only 8 new projects and a few has already been launched. So we are left with not many. But anyway, the focus today is on CCR. So let's come back to the topic. To most people that I spoke to, they have a fear of CCR properties as they have the impression that it's always losing money. Okay, I can't say it's totally true, but I must say there's some truth to it lah. But is it only CCR properties that are losing money? Actually, if a property has these two problems, it is quite likely that it will lose money as well. But it just happened that there are quite a few properties losing money in the CCR, and also there's a bias towards CCR itself, a prestigious area where it should be a place that you can hot big time and not lose money. I'm doing this video because in the second half of 2025, we will be getting about 16 new projects launching in CCR. And don't you want to see what's the problem with the CCR properties not making money and see if you can learn from this problem and capitalize on these new launches? I believe many buyers are keen to invest or stay in the CCR region, but due to the not so good reputation, maybe in the last 10 to 15 years, people are afraid to buy into properties there, fearing that they will lose money as well. So we want to see what's wrong with the properties there and if we can buy into this region going forward. Now let's understand what's the government's vision for the property landscape in Singapore. From all the cooling measures coming in since Lehman Brothers crisis in 2009, it is clear that the government's vision for Singapore property is based on needs. Basically, own occupation and not so much on investment so that price can be sustainable and grow at a reasonable pace. The meaning of needs is that no matter how expensive it is, you still buy it as long as you can afford it. Home must be of a high livable standard and practical so that it can meet the needs of families. When the needs are met, there will be a clear exit strategy in the future. So yes, CCR always lose money, best to avoid. This is a common perception and I can't say it is not true, but it doesn't apply to all condo projects in CCR. So let's have a look at what are the general problems that contributed to some of the CCR properties losing money. I must say in the CCR, we are facing two problems. First is the demand problem. If there is low demand, do you think price can sustain? Obviously not, right? Second problem is product problem. If you are looking for a house to stay, am I right to say that the home must be decently good in order for you to put in your millions? Now let's dive into the first problem, and that is the demand problem. Property price was relatively too high in the CCR in the past, so it was very hard for upgraders to go in. You can see this is the 2010 property price range. OCR is at $800 to $1,000 per square foot. RCR is at $1,300 to $1,500 per square foot. CCR is at $2,500 to $3,500 per square foot. Versus today, OCR is at $2,004 per square foot to $2,006 per square foot. RCR is $2,006 to $2,007 per square foot, and CCR or Central Region is at $2,007 to $3,005 per square foot. You can see in the past, because of the wide price gap, it is very hard for people to sell their OCR and RCR properties and upgrade to CCR. People can upgrade from OCR to RCR, but very hard to move on to CCR due to the wide price gap. So the bottleneck is between the OCR and RCR region as the population continues to grow. You can see from here, this is the progressive chart that shows OCR, RCR and CCR price difference. OCR to CCR is about $1,700 per square foot price difference. RCR to CCR is about $1,000 per square foot price difference. The price gap is so big, how many people actually dare to dream of entering CCR? Unless you strike Toto or 4D, if not, it remains an unachievable dream for many buyers. Because of this, there is very little chance for people to go on from OCR to RCR and eventually to CCR. Hence, demand is way much lesser in CCR. Now, let's have a look at the price gap in percentage between the regions. The orange line represents the price gap between OCR and CCR, and you can see the price difference peak at 112%. That's like more than double the price of OCR properties. How to even afford it? Then the blue line is the CCR versus RCR price. 72% price difference. That's to say that even if I can go from OCR to RCR, I still need to reach a 72% price difference to go to CCR. I think by the time I'm already half dead and I better be sleeping in the coffin. Aside from this huge price gap that dampens the demand for CCR, there is also another problem, and that is the decentralization plan of Singapore to establish business hub beyond the city centre. This URA planning pulled away some demand from CCR properties. Why do we need decentralization? The purpose of decentralization in Singapore is to distribute economic activity beyond CBD and create self-sufficient hubs across the island. This strategy helps to, number one, reduce congestion in the city centre by spreading out workplaces. Number two, bring jobs closer to home, cutting down commuting time. Number three, encourage business growth in different regions, making Singapore more resilient. And lastly, enhance urban planning, ensuring sustainable development across the country. So yes, you can see the action of decentralization will have some impact that drives demand away from the central region. But in the longer term, decentralization is actually going one full circle to boost the demand of CCR properties. And I'll explain to you later why. You can see from here, this is the decentralization strategy that can be found in the URA website. All these orange and blue color nodes spread across Singapore are where the current and future commercial areas that bring jobs closer to home. The current and more established areas are like your Tampines Regional Centre, Jurong Lake District, Woodlands Regional Centre, Changi Business Park, Punggol Digital District, Science Park, One North, and many more. You can check it out on the URA website itself. I'm sure you have definitely heard of some of these commercial areas before, or you may be even working in one of it. And this is exactly what has been happening for the past 10 to 15 years of decentralization. And because of this, there are incentives for people to go out of central area, and hence it has taken away some demand from the CCR. Now let's dive into the second problem, and that is the quality of the product. In the past, we used to have many projects with very poor layout due to excessive balconies, bay windows, planter boxes, and huge aircon ledge. Everyone started asking if there's a real purpose to having bay windows and planter boxes. Balcony is debatable, some actually likes it, but in the past you can find projects with really big balconies. Some have 2 or even 3 balconies in the house. And as for ground floor unit, they give you really big PES area, or what we know as a private enclosed space. I don't know, am I supposed to be sleeping in those big balconies? I think in the past there were many small-time developers doing hit and run business by producing low-quality products. And especially in certain parts of CCR where there's a high concentration of small plots of freehold land, some developers try to maximize profit in those small land plots, churning out as many units as possible and giving out really bad and odd-shaped layout in the process. Let's have a look at some of these examples. First example, Scott Square. Good location, few minutes walk to Orchard MRT, and it's above Scott Square Mall. So this one definitely atas one. It sounds good, but the product has got a problem, and that is the livability. Honestly, I think the site plan is not fantastic. It has a small site plan. Obviously, we are not going to get a lot of facilities in the apartment to cater to the people living there, especially for family. But I don't think this is so much of a deal breaker. But I guess when you're paying a good amount of management fee, you do expect a little bit more. And if you look at the unit mix of the development, 1 bedroom we have 162 units, 2 bedroom we have 90 units, and 3 bedroom we have 86 units. So these look more like an investor product with majority of the units being 1 to 2 bedroom. Doesn't really cater to family or own occupation. This means that there is a low natural demand. It is hard to sustain price when majority of the owners are investors. Very little natural demand coming in to hold the price consistent and sustainable in the development. Even the 3-bedroom layout is not that friendly to family as well. Why do I say that? Let's have a look at the floor plan first. This is a 3-bedroom, 1249 square feet, and honestly is oversized for a 3-bedroom in the current standard, hence inflating the overall quantum of the product. It's okay to be oversized, but you need to at least have good space internally. But you can see that a good part of the unit has bay windows, long balcony, and big aircon ledge. The kitchen for a 3-bedroom of this size is open concept. How to cook and not get the house to smell? An enclosed kitchen in a 3-bedroom is a must if you want to cater to a family. Then you have one of the common bedroom that can't even fit a queen size bed. Nowadays, even the common bedroom of a 900 square feet 3-bedroom new condo can fit a queen size bed. So yes, you can see the overall product from site plan to the unit mix and layout is not really ideal. To me, it scores quite low in the livability factor. The worst part is that the size of the 1249 square feet is already the size of a 4-bedroom mass market new condo in today's market. Buyers are getting more savvy, and we mostly want to pay for what we can use only and not to pay for bay windows, planter boxes that we honestly can't do much with. So yes, low livability scores highly equate to low natural demand, and that highly equate to lose money. You can see the statistics from here, mostly lose money. Next example, Lumos. Also good location, walk a few minutes to Great World MRT. It's a small condo with a small land size and obviously not many facilities like Scott Square. So not that ideal, but I think what kills it more is the layout. So 2-bedroom duplex at 1173 square feet. First, it's definitely oversized for a 2-bedroom, and because of that, the quantum of the unit will be inflated. Second, it's a duplex, and that staircase is also a wasted space that is counted into the size of the unit. Third, it's odd-shaped throughout the house. I can't imagine having odd-shaped bedroom. You can see the bedroom 1 and 2. Fourth, we are paying for strata void area for the high ceiling. Fifth, I know it's a limitation of design, but it's just weird that when you have storeroom on the second floor. Sixth, at 1173 square feet, the kitchen is not even enclosed. And do you know that with the latest URA floor plan improvement, 1173 square feet is actually the same size as a 4-bedroom unit in the newly launched Bloomsbury residences, which has a very efficient and spacious layout. So you can see livability score for this is not high. Now let's look at the Lumos 3-bedroom at 1755 square feet. Same as before, 1755 square feet is oversized for a 3-bedroom, causing the quantum to balloon. Big never mind okay, but if you can give me a good usable living area, I'm actually good. But while you see the floor plan, the house is wrapped around by planter boxes, balconies, and it has a big aircon latch as well. I don't know, why would I need this type of balcony and planter box in the house? Somehow it's odd shape. And of course, do you know that 1755 square feet is a 5-bedroom layout in the current market for new launches? And I can tell you that the 5-bedroom unit surely has a bigger bedroom and kitchen than this Lumos 3-bedroom. The livability score on this one is low for sure, leading to low natural demand, and hence you can see it's actually losing money. Next is a pick at Kent Hill 2. Same as the previous 2 projects, it has a small land size and not many facilities, so that puts the project at a disadvantage. 60 units in total, comprising of 58 units of 2-bedroom and 2 units of 2+ study. I would say it's basically an investment condo with almost no natural demand from families. But let's look at the layout first. 2-bedroom 904 square feet layout. Same thing, oversized for a 2-bedroom with no real space that can be used. Quantum is high due to the size. Look at the amount of space allocated to the balcony, planter box and bay windows. Walao, I don't know what's left for me to use. It's pure rubbish. Sorry to say that. For such a big unit, kitchen is open concept and the common bedroom can only fit single size bed. And yes, definitely a low score for livability with no natural demand, and with no natural demand, this one cannot huat. Right? Just look at the transacted unit, so at a loss. Imagine you work very hard or you cannot toto and manage to get the money to upgrade to the CCR region. But end of the day, we are faced with this kind of layout which are not practical and is expensive. You might as well stay at where you are in the OCR or the RCR area, where you have better facilities and amenities, and importantly, practical layout for comfortable living. But does this problem of losing money only happen in the CCR area? Or it can happen anywhere if these 2 problems exist? Before we jump into a conclusion that CCR always lose money, we need to look deeper, get clarification so that we can unlock our mind. Especially so when there are potential opportunities in the market today where the price gap between CCR has narrowed so much with RCR and OCR. Now, let's look at this example, Skye Habitat. This is a RCR property, a good location, walk to Bishan MRT with shopping mall and lots of foods around. Okay, you look at the layout, long corridor, big aircon latch, 2 balconies. Because they haven't gone through URA policy improvement, that's why we have excessive balconies and it's odd shaped some more. Or don't even know if I can do zip track blind on the balconies. So the next thing is the master bedroom is actually quite small. This has low livability score. 3-bedroom at 1248 square feet, and with the current new launches, it can be a 4-bedroom with much more efficient use of space. Long story short, Skye Habitat is not performing exactly the best given that it's in a very popular location and with a very good amenities around. So you can see it's not really just a CCR problem. It can happen anywhere when you have demand and product problem. Moving forward, if we can solve these 2 problems, CCR will definitely be performing way better. Okay, let's see how our Akong has planned things to solve these two big problems for CCR. I mentioned earlier that decentralization put the demand away from the CCR, but at the same time, it is also going one full circle to help in the demand of CCR. Why? Yes, decentralization did initially pull some demand away from CCR. While we are decentralizing, we are also revitalizing the outskirts area of Singapore. Remember all the commercial nodes that the government is establishing outside of the central area? Remember the malls that are sprouting out in outskirts areas? And accompanying all these were existing and new MRT access to these areas. All this gradually boosts the property price in the RCR and OCR area, bridging the gap smaller and smaller to the CCR property. Let's have a look at the new launches happening recently around these RCR and OCR commercial nodes. You got Norwood Grands in Woodlands, selling averagely at $1,895 to $2,225 per square foot. You got Lentor Central, $1,982 to $2,573 per square foot. You got Tram Park in OCR clocking in at a high of $2,785 per square foot. You got Parktown Residences in Tampines at $2,605 per square foot. You got an RCR freehold development in East Coast that has crossed $3,569 per square foot. Then you also have Alta at Clementi that has hit a high of $2,881 per square foot. Decentralization has made almost every part of Singapore valuable, and with that, property prices in the OCR and the RCR has increased so much. Am I right to say that because of this, the property price gap between OCR and RCR has become so narrow compared to the CCR, and that it is way easier for people to progress into CCR now? You can see from this chart, decentralization bridges the price gap of the CCR to the OCR and RCR property. Okay, you can see from the yellow color line, that is the price gap between OCR and CCR. And from the peak, the price gap has dropped from 112% to 25.1%. Then for the blue color line, it represents the price gap between RCR and CCR. And it dropped from 72% to 11% now. Meaning to say that it's not such a far-fetched dream to move into CCR anymore. You can see from this chart where we map up the PSF price difference. From RCR to CCR, it is about 200 to 400 per square foot difference. From OCR to CCR, it is about 500 to 600 per square foot difference. These are numbers that are easier to digest compared to the past. With the progression of the OCR and RCR properties value, owners can leverage on the capital appreciation together with the CPF amount used and principal amount of their properties to upgrade to CCR. Therefore, you can see with decentralization, it actually goes one full circle to increase the value of OCR and RCR properties, which then aids the property owner in this region to progress into CCR. You can see the Singaporean buyers profile for District 9. It has increased from 66.1% in 2022 to 77.7% in 2024. For District 1, which is the Marina Bay area, it has increased from 32.9% to 82.2% Singaporeans buying in the year of 2024. District 2 as well has got a good percentage of Singaporeans buying in 2023 at 81.3%. I believe the percentage of Singaporeans buying into the central region will get higher as we progress, especially with the completion of Thomson East Coast Line. With Thomson East Coast Line, I want to talk about government's transformation plan to develop township in Singapore to solve the demand problem as well as improve the livability of the product. I will also touch on slightly on how to leverage on our three-phase transformation strategy to help buyers identify opportunities. But a full separate video on our three-phase transformation strategy will be done separately, so keep a lookout for that. In summary, the government's transformation on township planning will have three phases. The first phase is the announcement of plan. Second phase is completion of infrastructure. And lastly, after you are done with the infrastructure like MRT station, you will need to have something around it, right? So comes the third phase, and that is the urban development phase. If we look at the Bidadari estate, with the completion of the Woodleigh MRT station, which is phase 2, it enters into urban development phase. Within a short span of less than 10 years of the urban development phase, it has grown more than 112%. Coinciding this three-phase transformation, Thomson East Coast Line is in the urban development phase as we speak. The Thomson East Coast Line announcement was made on 15 August 2014, which created awareness. Completion of the Thomson East Coast Line is in phases, and for Napier, Orchard Boulevard and Great World, phase 2 completion was in 2022. So after completion, we are in the urban development phase. And with that, can you see that many government land sales are along Thomson East Coast Line in the central area? Like Great World, Havelock, Orchard Boulevard and Marina South. One such project has already been launched, and that is One Marina Gardens, where a new township will be formed. The urban development phase will introduce population into this area and creates a natural demand. At the same time, can you see that there are opportunities to make money as we enter into the development phase, mimicking the result of Bidadari Estate where it grew 112%. That is so much for the solution of the demand problem. What about the product problem? What are the solutions? Continuing where I left off just now, the urban development phase of the three-phase strategy will bring about intense development of the area once the MRT station is up. You can't have MRT and not build anything around it, right? So, with the increase in residential properties, there is a need to have increased amenities as well to cater to more residents around, hence improving the livability score. Next up, one of the most important solutions to the product problem is the improvement of URA policies. These are the URA policies that have been implemented along the way to improve the livability of the unit itself and the surrounding. As long as we can create units that are suitable for living, there will always be a need, there will always be a natural demand, thus achieving long-term price sustainability. I'll briefly go through this. Let's have a look at this table. There used to be many bay windows and planter boxes in the past, but in 2008, URA sets rule to remove this, and this improved the layout. A lot of times you will also see super big balconies or private enclosed space for those ground floor units, which I think is totally unnecessary. Then the next thing you know, in 2018, there was a revision to balcony incentive scheme for private non-landed residential development. There was a time where there used to be 3 balconies in a unit. Now they incentivize developers to make sure that they only build the right size balcony. That again improves efficiency of the unit. Then again in 2018, there's this new policy on bonus gross floor area for indoor recreational space for private non-landed residential. This improved the site plan, which to say the compound of the condo itself was improved, hence improving livability. In 2022, there was another important improvement, which was the GFA harmonization, and that effectively removed aircon ledge as part of the space that people pay for in the past. Hence, we have a more effective layout at a sustainable price quantum. All these URA policies are here to improve the unit layout and site plan so that owners and residents can benefit from it. And this ultimately improves livability of the unit itself, boosting the quality of the product greatly. Let's have a look at some example of how improvements were made over the years for this 3-bedroom comparison. From Martin Place Residences, which was launched in 2011 with a size of 1421 square feet, comes with bay windows, big balconies and planter boxes. It is still livable, but why do you want to pay for the extra space which is not usable? Next, we have Martin Modern, launched in 2017. 1355 square feet, nice layout, but you're still getting an excessive balconies and big aircon ledge. Then in 2022 came Well Hill Residences. 3-bedroom unit comes at a smaller size of 1270 square feet. And finally, we have One Marina Gardens, the first central region project that comes under GFA harmonization, which aircon ledge is not considered part of the strata size that is sold to the buyer, dropping the size to 1173 square feet for a 3-bedroom. Price efficiency is kept in check and you only pay for what you can use and not for unnecessary space like bay windows, planter boxes, excessively big balconies and aircon ledges. So you buy new development today to keep up with the changes in the URA policies for improved livability. You keep it up so that you can cater to future consumer needs. By catering to future consumer needs, am I right to say that there will be a natural demand? And with that, am I right to say that it's easier to get capital gain for your property next time? Another thing that you need to realize is that these new developments in the central region have quite similar site plans and layout to those that you can find in the mass market. Why is it so? It's because these site plans and layout are practical enough to cater to upgraders or anyone who is sane enough will find it practical for their own occupation. The smaller price gap between CCR and the outskirt area meant that we will be getting more upgraders coming into the CCR market, and naturally we will need to cater to their needs. That's why you can see 900 square feet 3 bedrooms and 1200 square feet 4 bedrooms configuration. All these are what the OCR and RCR buyers are familiar with. Let's look at Avinia in River Valley, near Great Wall MRT. It has a good unit distribution with 137 units of 3 bedroom, 101 units of 4 bedrooms, 69 units of 1 bedroom and 69 units of 2 bedrooms. It's got a larger land size and a good evenly distributed site plan. Good facility condo and is obviously a homestay project. Bonus is that it's a freehold project, but regardless whether it's freehold or 99 years, as long as livability score is high, there will be natural demand, and with natural demand, price can be supported, sustained and grow. Even though Avenue has not gone through GFA harmonization, the unit size is still relatively good. Look at their 3-bedroom layout, 1141 square feet, pretty much what a mass market 3-bedroom premium layout is like. Well thought out and practical. With a good livability score, you can see that owners in Avenue are making good capital gain. So CCR make money as well, but you just need to choose carefully. Next, we have Irwell Hill Residences, a 99-year leasehold property which is a short walk to Great World MRT. This development is a little special as their focus is on 2-bedroom with 302 units. 3, 4 and 5 bedrooms total, 102 units. Buyers majority are 75% Singaporeans and about 16% PR. I believe one of their target crowds are yuppies who want to stay in District 9. It has a good land size with a good site plan, full facility condos. The 2 blocks and facilities are well spread out. Nice landscaping, good for homestay. Okay, let's look at the 2-bedroom layout, 657 square feet. This size is actually what we see in those new mass market condo in outskirt area. And people are used to size like this. But how livable is it? You can see at 657 square feet, it has a super efficient layout and even has an enclosable kitchen. For most of the 2 bedrooms configuration out there, right, 657 square feet usually comes with open concept kitchen. Furthermore, you get a common bathroom as well as an ensuite bath. For a lot of condo out there at 657 square feet, you probably only get 1 bathroom. What about a 3-bedroom layout? This is a premium layout at 1270 square feet. It's a pre-harmonized floor plan, so the size for 3-bedroom premium is acceptable. And importantly, this layout is very practical for family. Okay, that's why with livability score being high on this one, there's natural demand, and hence you can see the owners here are actually making good capital gain. 2-bedroom here was purchased at 1.75 million in 2021 with 25% down payment plus stamp duty. The total outlay is about 492,000. The capital gain is 268,000, so that made the return on equity to be about 54%. This is a good result, given that the holding period is less than 4 years. Last example, we'll have a look at Gramercy Park at Grange Road. This is a nice development. Big land size, full facility condo with big pools, nice landscaping, and the blocks are actually well spread out. This 3-bedroom unit is 1884 square feet. It sounds a little big for 3-bedroom, and plus, it also comes with bay window and planter box. So is it livable? Let's have a look. Even though there are bay windows and planter box, which I think is at a disadvantage, you can see that they are not extensively imposed into the unit. Just a small bay window in the bedrooms and a planter box in the master bedroom. And you can see at least a big part of the unit size is usable area. And the aircon latch is surprisingly not that big as well. I would say that in comparison to many other CCR layout, this is way much livable and better. It still caters well to natural demand and family living, and hence you can see the capital gain that some owners made. I hope this video brings you more clarity and perspective on why some CCR properties lose money. I hope that you can learn to identify the mistakes and pitfalls this owner made and benefit from it. Due to the narrowing price gap between CCR and the outskirt region, there are definitely opportunities with the upcoming launches, but we need to open up our mind first. With the 2 problems mentioned in this video, not just CCR properties will suffer, any properties in Singapore won't be spared as well. Okay, I'm done for today. I will see you in the next video.